Hi everyone, this is Joby's Gorillapod Focus. Definitely got some things that could really be improved here. Now I don't want you to think this is a negative review, because it really isn't. I just really like this thing, and that's why I really want to see it improved. Now I'm not going to talk about the other things I've spoken about in previous videos, about using this as a video stabilizer and as a sort of hands-free point of view camera sort of thing. That's going to be in a separate video down below, because that's already been discussed. So the feet really just need to be stronger. I've spoken to Joby about this. I don't know why they have this idea that this is strong enough. That's what they think. I don't know why. If you, like me, really want a strong Gorillapod that is actually strong and larger than this, then please email Joby and tell them that you think that like I do, because I think if enough people email them, then maybe they'll actually make one. For comparison, it's got nice grippy feet, it's got quite a lot of strength in the feet, so it's almost a similar amount of this. It feels different, it's slightly easier to move this, but it also, once it's in position, it sort of sticks to itself, so it doesn't really want to move out of position. Sort of has a high sort of static friction to the connections. It's metal and plastic rather than plastic on plastic. So this surprisingly just works a little better. So then we have 4.5 kilograms here measured, even though it says 5 kilograms on there. It's not very easy to balance on this thing, but okay, there we go. So this is fine. This will hold that even though it's not rated for this weight. This thing has a big sign on the box, big lettering on the box that says 5 kilograms. So let's see what happens when we put 5 kilograms on it. Straighten out the head, and I'm in a warm room right now. It's not boiling, but it's warm, and all the Gorillapods will be slightly weaker when it's warm. Okay, so something like that. So this is almost broke the table. No, not 5 kilograms. That's not even, what? No, most times this is not going to move out of position, but I can move it out of position. If I give it some strength, it's going to move out of position. In my review of this one, I wasn't able to move it. Now that the room is warmer, with enough strength, it's actually stronger than this one, but it will move out of position eventually. This is almost unmovable. This is movable. Let's take a look at the quick release plate on the ball head. It's an Arca Swiss, meaning a sort of standard size. On this thing, it won't move out of position, but a similar amount of grippy material touching the bottom of the camera. With this one, it will move out of position. It doesn't move on its own that much. I've seen much worse quick release plates than this. I've seen terrible quick release plates. This one is mediocre. It's acceptable, not great. It just, so once I get that screwed onto there, I like that it has a D-ring. So that's finger strength. Nope, moves out of position. And let's use some tool strength. Really lock that down in there. Nope, moves out of position. So, not good enough. The Giotto is about 15 pounds to 25 pounds depending on where you get it, but it's an awesome quick release system. It's got a crazy ton of grip, easily held 5 kilograms of turning force in my test. That's locked, that's undone a little bit so it can move, just a tiny bit. Now let's see how long it takes before the camera falls to the floor. So that's half a turn, camera's on the floor. No thank you. Next up, let's check the strength, just for comparison, because I did that in the review of this one. So, got a little measury thing here, a little measury-do. So let's see how much strength it takes to move one of these things out of position. This one about 4 to 5 kilograms. This one moves slower, but a similar amount is needed to actually move it. So actually even at 3 kilograms it's moving slowly. The entire leg will take about 500 grams to move. So similar to this, in fact almost identical. Some ideas to strengthen it? Well, you could wrap it in these, I have no idea what they're called, but potentially that is, I'll put a link to them down below. They're cheap and they make it look really ugly, but it's stronger, a little bit stronger. It's like a metal wire wrapped in rubbery stuff. So this is the fake Gorillapod. I don't know who makes it or what it's called, but it's terrible. I mean, it's really just a piece of crap. Don't bother. it's weak and crap and crap. So, the smaller Gorillapods, cheaper. Maybe if you disconnect the feet from 2 of these and put them into one super long Gorillapod. I'm going to try that in another video. I'll discuss that in another video. Maybe something like this. I really like this guy. This one is, it's a tripod that goes really long, but it's very lightweight. It's about the same as the Gorillapod, a bit less. And it goes higher, just makes, you can position it anyway. Great for, long exposure photography, great for video if you don't need to move the head around. I mean, it's really useful for a travel tripod. This guy, mostly I use it for video as a shoulder stabilizer sort of thing. See my video about that. The Lollipod, I think it's kind of nice as a little audio stand, maybe a little light stand for tiny lights. Okay, let's sum up. This thing costs less than half the price of the Focus, actually around 1/3 the price. It's around 1/2 the weight of the Focus. It has stronger legs and a stronger head, and it has a much, much stronger quick release blade system. Surprisingly, even though it's so tiny, it feels like it's glued to the camera. So that's awesome. Now, neither one of these has a secondary safety for the quick release. I'm simply mostly going to be using this with a secondary little safety string that I added. So I'm going to be mostly using this with my Giotto system, since this is what I have on everything else. So that makes it very quick for me to move from, move my camera from one thing to the other. So have it like that, which is holding really nicely to the bottom of the Giotto. And I'm sure I'll come up with something a little better than this at some point, but for now this is fine. This is just to make sure that while I'm working with this, if it's on my shoulder or something and I accidentally press the release button, then my camera's not going to hit the floor. And surprisingly, even with the Giotto system, this thing still weighs around 100 grams less than this combination of Focus and Bullhead X. Now the Focus still has the advantage of size. So what you can do with this, for an additional 22 pounds, you can get another set of legs without the head and just connect them to here. Now there is a chance that it might break when you try and dislocate these joints, but if it does, then you can simply glue that joint in place. And what that would mean is that you would have one joint in the middle that simply doesn't bend, but you have a much, much longer super Gorillapod thing. I'm going to try that out and let you guys know how it works out. For me, if I have one that ends up not moving properly, that's not going to be a huge issue. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm going with this one. I'm sorry, Joby, but in my opinion, it's just a better product. This thing works really well as a hands-free sort of thing, just like the Focus, and it works very well just, actually holding the handles if I wanted to, just like a shoulder rig, so this makes it easier to aim. And it's super stable, it's cheap, and so my conclusion for the Gorillapod Focus review is buy the Gorillapod SLR Zoom. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Visit my channel for lots more awesome filmmaking and photography videos, like lighting techniques, DIY projects, behind the scenes tutorials, cameras, lenses, adapters, shoulder rigs, stabilizers, flashes, LEDs, microphones, bags, straps, studio backgrounds, tripods, float heads, sliders, multi-tools, and lots more cool stuff!